boy JB, aka the King of Soul, and today we got some Air Maxes to look at. The Nike Air Max 1 Big Head Origins. Now they are calling this the Donkey Kong colorway. Before we get into the review, do me a favor, make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel. If you do dig the content, also hit that share button. These videos that we do on this channel are strictly for review purposes, so if you do happen to have any questions or comments, definitely feel free to drop those down below. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into the review. So this sneaker does come in this all yellow box here. Now the box sleeves, you do have this Nike swoosh here with the hit of gray and white. If you do a 360 around the box, you will notice more of that Nike swoosh brand in there. Now over on this side, you do have this swoosh text here in white. The bottom portion of the box doesn't really have too much going on. It just does have your hit of yellow, but you do have some Nike branding and copyright information over on this side here in white. Other than that, nothing too much there to notate, but for those that do care about that, there you go. Now the box label on the sneaker does read Air Max 1 Big Head Origins. The colorway says light chocolate and then university red. Now when you do open the box, and it is a swing box lid situation, but up underneath you do kind of have like this hit of brown here, you know, because it is made out of cardboard, but there is no you know, stamps or anything there to notate. Now the sneaker does come wrapped in this white and yellow paper here, and it is kind of like this white wax paper here to the touch, but it is like, you know, a pixelated image. When you move beyond there, it is like just some regular white tissue paper, and then beyond that you are met with the actual sneaker itself. Now this is a highly limited and sought after sneaker. I believe this sneaker was actually only released through Nike's Web3 swoosh site, so like definitely, like, you know, glad to get this pair in the collection. Now inside the box I don't really see anything, but they do have your white and green sticker there. Let me move that out of the way. But yeah, man, again, highly sought after sneaker. Now if you don't know about this sneaker here, it is actually supposed to be reminiscent to kind of commemorate the Donkey Kong character from Nintendo, which is why you do kind of have, like, you know, these hits of, like, you know, brown throughout the entire sneaker. But yeah, man, dope materials. I do love the fact that they had swapped out some things on this one, but one thing that I did like most about this one was this kind of like pixelated Nike swoosh. But yeah, man, definitely glad to get this one in the collection. We're not going to take too long on this one. We are in and out. But again, let's go ahead and get into it. But this is that Air Max 1 Big Head Origins. And again, this is that Donkey Kong colorway. So we're going to take a look at the right sneaker like we always do. Now from first observation, now the sneaker to me, it does look like what you would expect from like any other, like, you know, Air Max 1. Now again, they did swap out some materials on this one, so I'm going to take my time as far as, like, you know, breaking down everything. First and foremost, you do kind of have like this kind of like high hairy suede here and brown, both here going by the toe box, and then, you know, around like the mid panels going towards the rear here as well. It does kind of wrap around the back, but you do have this kind of like light brown Nike swoosh there going towards the front there. Now because it is like a sneaker patterned after, like, you know, a video game character, they did go ahead and give us this pixelated Nike swoosh here. Now the Nike swoosh, it does have like this hit of red leather and red stitching, but if you look closely behind it, you do have the hit of yellow there. They do have this hit of brown suede material up here, but they did go ahead and give us this red eye stain. The sock liner of the sneaker does have this hit of tan. The midsole of the sneaker, it does have this hit of yellow. They do have, like, you know, some lines indented in the midsole itself, but going towards the rear, you do have that cut out there for the bubble, which you can clearly see through the other side. The bottom portion of the sneaker does have like this hit of brown. Other than that, you do have like this tan mesh material here that's going towards the rear as well. well. And that's pretty much it to highlight on the lateral side. Switching gears, going to the front toe box area of the sneaker. Now you are met with this tan kind of mesh material here, if you will. Now if you look closely, they do kind of have like this kind of, it's like a watermark situation, because you can't really like see it. Like, you know, the opacity of it is like, you know, kind of like, you know, dim, but it does have like these kind of like square blocks here. Now to me it kind of reminds me of like, you know, old like 8-bit games, you know, but because like, you know, it's patterned after a Nintendo character, I definitely get where they were trying to go there. Now the sneaker itself, it did come with these flat kind of like brown laces, if you will. Now these aren't like your regular like brown laces. They do kind of feel kind of ropish to the touch, but they are kind of like thicker than like most like flat laces on this sneaker. Now for me, this was kind of like the only thing that I really didn't like about the sneaker. I feel like they should have did like something different as far as like the laces go, but to each his own. But the tongue of the sneaker, it does have this hit of brown nubuck here, and it does have like some brown stitching. Now if you look closely up top, they did go ahead and give us this brown tag here. Now the tag does have this red Nike swoosh, and if you look closely, it does have Nike Air Max here, kind of like, you know, pixelated. Around the tongue of the sneaker, you do have like this hit of brown here, and the tongue of the sneaker is like, you know, heavily padded, just like, you know, most Air well, I would actually say like this kind of reminds me of like, you know, like an SB Dunk as far as like, you know, the thickness of the tongue. Behind the tongue, you do have this white tag here, and it does have this rated E standing for everyone behind there. And then the sock liner of the sneaker does have like this hit of tan. Now I'm not going to pull it out, but the inside of the sneaker, they do have like this hit of brown, and you do have like these gold coins here. The gold coins do have like this DS text and some yellow Nike swooshes. Other than that, that's pretty much it. The medial side of the sneaker, pretty consistent with the other side. So you do have this pixelated Nike swoosh here in red and leather. Of course, you got the yellow going around the red leather there as well. You do have more of this kind of like tan, kind of like, you know, nubuck material here. More of the brown high hair suede going throughout the entire upper, and then you do have your yellow midsole. Then you do have your cutout over on this side as well. Going towards the rear of the sneaker, you do have more of this brown high hair suede. Of course, you do see the hit of yellow there. Now up top, you do have this hit of tan here, but you do have smack dead center there. You do have this yellow circle, and it does have the Nike Air text there. Going towards the bottom of the sneaker, now this does look just like your standard Air Max 1 bottom. It just has like your hit of brown here. Now you do have some Nike branding and Air text here going towards the bottom, and that's pretty much it there. The left sneaker, pretty consistent with the right. Everything over on this side is pretty much the same. They didn't swap out like any branding or anything on this one, but if I were to rate this sneaker, I would definitely give this one a solid, let's go ahead and give it a 8 out of 10. It's not that I don't like the sneaker, it's just that at the end of the day, I mean, 8 is kind of high, so I mean, I do have to favor it. Again, one thing that I would have done differently, I would have swapped out the laces, but they didn't give us like any secondary options. Like to me, I just feel like the laces are kind of tacky compared to like, you know, the materials that they used on the shoe. I feel like they could have did a better option. I do feel like the tongue on the sneaker, I get what they were trying to do here as far as like, you know, pixelating like the Nike Air Max brand in here, but it's like the job that they did on it, like you can't really tell exactly what it says if you weren't really like an Air Max like fanatic or just like, you know, a sneakers fan in general. Like you wouldn't even really know like what this text says. I really feel like I wish they would have did like a better execution on there, but it is what it is, man. Dope sneaker. As far as like comfort and sizing, I do feel like the sneaker does fit a bit snug. So in my opinion, I would recommend going up a half size on this one. It does fit like most Air Max. Air Max to me, they do tend to run a bit small. So if you do kind of have like, you know, a wide foot, you know, situation, I would definitely go up a like half size on this one just to give you a little bit more comfort. But it's just like any other sneaker. The more you wear it over time, of course, like, you know, it'll break in. And that's pretty much it. But I definitely want to take time to shout out the vendor who actually gifted the sneaker to review on the channel for you guys. And I do encourage you, like always, to stay engaged because I can be reached on all social media platforms. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, even here on YouTube. Everything is at the King of Soul. But before we go, I'm gonna hit you guys with a 360 and a B-roll like I always do. But there you go. Air Max 1 Big Hit Origins. And again, this is that Donkey Kong colorway. So there's the front of the sneaker. Lateral side of the right. Lateral side of the left. There's your bottom. There's the medial side. And then there's the rear. But I thank you guys for taking the time to tune in like always. But until next time, see you later.